everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
Take control. Take control of your city.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn I'm not. All right.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Mark my words.
Let's get those likes up, people. Like the video for me, please. You got a lot of ground to cover today in a short amount of time. Honestly, man, this Somali thing is national. We have a national Somali fraud problem. It's almost like every single one of them is stealing something. Is welfare fraud just a part of their culture at this point? Maybe it's a cultural thing. I don't know what to think anymore, but it's definitely a national problem now. They all got to go back, y'all. They all got to go back. Even the good ones.
Everyone's got a machine, so I'm not bothered when man miss gym day. Lager. Did have my air plat.
Shout out to the Door Brothers. Dropped another banger. It's all downhill after that shit, though.
I'm just really proud to be an ally. I feel privileged to be able to stand with.
Oh, damn it. Why did I do that? Oh, crap. My bad. Technical difficulties, y'all.
Ally. I feel privileged to be able to stand with our Somali community during this difficult time. As Saeed said, the Somali community, the refugee community, the immigrant community represent the best of who we are as Green Bay residents, but also as Americans. We also will have a resolution that's going to be coming to our Common Council on Tuesday.
We gather today here under challenging circumstances. Last week, we heard about the Cinnabon employee in Schwabenan that insulted and demonized the Somali American couple using racial slurs, declaring herself racist.
We are not going to be defined by a national administration that causes division or a single racial slur echoed in the rooms of Cinnabon. Hate has no home in Green Bay. We are going to work desperately hard to ensure that no matter language you speak or who you love, how you identify or how you showed up here, that we are going to make we're going to make Green Bay home for you.
There's another part of that declaration that I think we need to remember today, and that is that all men are created equal. So it is offensive. I'm offended for all of those students to hear this divisive rhetoric. And I am sorry that you have had to listen to this, all of those students who've had to listen to this. And it deeply hurts me to see the hurt that this has caused to Saeed and the work that Kamza does to serve
immigrants and refugees right here in Green Bay. Their organization does incredible work. And when we have this divisive rhetoric at the national level, targeting our brothers and sisters, that is the human cost. And I'm going to tell you that we will not stand for that. Not here in Green Bay. We will not stand for it.
Over the past weeks, we have witnessed disturbing acts of hate directed at Somali and Muslim community members, from the harassment of Somali women in a Green Bay city nearby.
This incident was painful, not only for the couple involved, but for every immigrant, every Muslim, and every person who has ever felt targeted for simply being who they are.
Somali immigrant and refugee families across Green Bay who are living with a level of danger, fear, and hostility that is absolutely unacceptable. Recently, someone close to Saeed was harassed at the Cinnabon in Bay Park Square Mall. Some people will try to minimize that. They'll say it was just a comment, just a moment, or just a misunderstanding, or even the worst of them all, we didn't see the whole video. But for our communities, it's never just anything. It's a part of a pattern where Black, Somali, Muslim, immigrant, and refugee families are told with looks, with racial slurs, and even with threats that they do not belong here. When a Somali woman cannot feel safe at the mall, no one in Green Bay is truly safe. Adding racialized harassment and xenophobic violence on top of that does not just harm people's feelings. It harms their nervous systems. It disrupts sleep. It worsens anxiety. It deepens PTSD. Somali, African, immigrant, and refugee families are not guests in this city. They are Green Bay.
Our president spoken hateful words about our community, calling us names and insulting us. This kind of hate speech has no place in our society. We are the backbone of this nation's growth. We work hard, serve our neighbors, and help build this country just like everyone else.
Tonight, I stand in full solidarity of our Somali American and Muslim neighbors and all other immigrant communities, because an attack on one of these communities is an attack on all of us.
Today, I stand in solidarity with our Somali, our immigrant, and our refugee communities, whose contributions enrich our Northeast Wisconsin community. To our Somali immigrant and refugee neighbors, we see you, we stand with you.
Yes, they absolutely did have a gigantic press conference about the Cinnabon bombing incident. And now we have a little bit more video. Here's some 911 audio.
Hello, County 911.
Hey, I'm here at the Bay Park Square.
Okay.
I was just here at the Cinnabon store. I was just buying a Cinnabon rolls, and the lady working over there started harassing me and my wife.
What happened?
Over her scarf she's wearing and all that stuff. So is there a way you can send a cab, so we can go to report?
Yeah. So what happened? So she was harassing you, but what?
We were just buying a Cinnabon rolls from her, and my wife asked if like she can add extra caramel. You could feel her face from the beginning. She didn't want to serve for us, but she was doing it like.
She was okay.
And then when my wife asked her, she was like, "Oh yeah, you see me. I'm having a difficulty squeezing the bottle. You can see it. Of course, you can see through the witchcraft you are wearing, like you said in her scarf." And when we start trying to confront her, tell her like what has to do witchcraft with what she's wearing, And
The Cinnabon bombing was like 9/11 for American Somalis. It really was, Where were you when the N bombs fell on the Cinnabon? Where were you?
And she started going on us and calling me and going from there and acting like crazy.
Okay. All right.
Like my wife put up her phone and started kind of recording her in the end.
Okay.
Oh shit, they're building the tower.
All right, was it ever physical?
For building a
Was it
tower.
ever physical?
Was it what?
Did she ever put her hands on you or your wife?
Put it in her hand on us?
Yes. Did she hit you or did she touch you at all?
No.
Okay.
She threatened on us that she knows our face and all that, and she was you could see through the video too, like she was grabbing the stuff, and she was not throwing it, but she was like, I'm gonna throw it in your face if you don't get the f out here and all that stuff.
Okay. Are you waiting outside or where are you waiting?
No, we are in the mall right now. We're talking to the security in the mall.
Okay. Are you at the security office or where are you?
No, we will be in the food court area.
Okay.
And what makes it even better is the police actually showed up.
The way you treated those guys here. Do you know why I'm here?
No.
That's a good video I just saw.
Yeah.
The way you treated those customers.
They treated me like at
So
first.
give me your side of the story so I know what's going on.
They came here and harassed me. I have PTSD. They knew exactly that I was ill. It's not the first time. It's the second, not the second time.
Okay.
So
What do you
don't
mean?
try to come at me and when they threatened me.
Yeah, I didn't come at you. So tell me what's going on. What else is going on? What did they do to you?
I don't know. They started threatening me. I don't know.
How
I
did
have
they
no
start
idea.
threatening
I have
you?
no idea. I don't know.
So you don't know how they threatened you?
Nope.
Okay. You understand this does not make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, doesn't make any
Okay.
sense to me either. And I'm the one being
So-
harassed, and you just came at me and telling me that.
I did not come at
What
you.
What do you want?
I want to know what's going on. Why you treated those customers that way? What they did to you for you to do?
I mean, really, how stressful is it to be a Cinnabon employee? Like, god damn. Everybody's just giving this broad a hard time. Like, can a bitch just make Cinnabons in peace? Like, what the hell is happening? I thought this was the Mall of America. Can a bitch make Cinnabons in peace without you niggas messing up the goddamn sticky bun sauce? Like, Jesus Christ, what's going on here?
I did not treat them. They treated me that way. This is a setup. Listen, I'm not playing money rolls right now.
Well, tell me what happened so we can figure out what's going on.
Nothing happened.
And what's your first name do? Okay, we're gonna do this one of two ways. Okay, you can start cooperating if you give me your name, your info,
I can leave now.
Or-
I'm not dealing with
or-
this crap.
I can just arrest you, bring you to jail for
For what?
disorderly conduct.
Are you kidding me? I have PTSD.
You will get arrested behind the counter of a Cinnabon if you drop a floating N-bomb on a couple of angry brown people. That's it. That's the tweet.
Can a nigga live? Can a nigga live? Please.
And they came to
With what I
harass
saw
me.
on the video, I have hands down.
My
enough
name is
evidence.
Chris.
That's all I'm asking for at this moment. Cooperate with me, it'll be easy. Don't with me, it will be difficult. Am I clear? No.
Yes.
Okay. Crystal, how do you spell it? Treat them the way you treat them in the
I
video.
have no idea. They
What
started
happened?
threatening me. All they said was that something about because the other two girls came and harassed me. And then I have no idea. I have no idea.
What other two girls?
There was two girls previous to them.
But so they didn't harass you previously? Two other girls did?
Yes.
Do you understand that's not fair to treat them that way when they didn't
I
harass
didn't
you?
treat them anyway. Do you have the beginning of this before they started recording?
I'm trying to get that from you, but you won't tell me.
There's no beginning. That's the thing, because you have 2 against 1 now. So
No,
there's
I
nothing
don't.
that happened. You threatened
Explain to me what happened.
to take me to jail.
You really did just automatically threaten this broad. Like, basically, harsh words were exchanged between people, and now somebody has to go to jail. And of course, because this is America, land of the free, home of the brave, the fragile, skinny white woman has to go to jail because, you know, it's only right. Why would we arrest these funny-looking brown people? Why would we ever put them in jail in America?
Related, because you're being extremely uncooperative with me.
Because I'm frustrated.
So tell me what happened. That's what I'm asking.
I have no idea what happened.
How can you not
It just
know
got
why you treated that way?
boisterous. I didn't listen, Tom. I know that you came because of Tom Van.
Listen, Tom. Listen, Tom. I'll have you know, Tom. Those foreigners were harassing me, Tom. And now you come here with your badge and your gun, all big and white, sticking up for these people, Tom. What about me, Tom? Who's going to fight for me, Tom? Who's going to fight for the average random white woman in the Midwest, Tom? I thought that was your fucking job, Tom.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you, but I have no idea what happened. I'm the one being harassed.
Okay, here's the deal, okay?
I have
The mall's getting a copy of the video.
Great. Then I
Corporation's getting a copy of the video.
Great. I can quit.
So just so you know.
Great. I don't need to
I don't know
work
what
here.
those two want done yet. Okay, if they want you arrested,
I haven't done anything
you're
to
going to
them.
get arrested.
You can't threaten me.
If they want you arrested, is that how the law works? If they want you arrested, do we really give out in passes now? And not for nothing, as a representative of the Black American community, I do not co-sign Somalians have a pass over. You do not control who gets an N-word pass, right? As a Black American, if that white woman wants to call you all the hard R's in the world, I will never intervene. I will turn my head and act like I never heard a thing. Hear no evil, see no evil. I don't care. You're a foreigner and you're cosplaying as one of my niggas, and I don't give a shit what these white people do to you no more. I hope they recolonize your land. I hope they take your country back.
No.
Great. I don't need to
I don't
work
know
here.
what those two want done yet. Okay, if they want you arrested,
I haven't done anything
you're
to
going
them.
to get arrested.
You can't threaten me.
I'm
I
not
want a
threatening
lawyer.
you.
I want a lawyer.
That's fine. You can ask for one.
I have
don't
not
really
done
care.
a single thing. You
So,
cannot arrest
I will be
me
back.
because
Yeah. So that's what happened one day at Cinnabon. And I think it's interesting that first we had Shiloh Hendricks, which that was a Midwestern Somali gentleman. And then we had the attack on Cinnabon and all of the fallout behind that. And it was like it was like a foreshadowing. It was like the universe was trying to tell us something, like Mother Nature, Gaia herself was trying to let you know it's about to be up on these goddamn Somalians, all right? Mother Nature, you know what? It wasn't even Mother Nature. It was Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam was letting you know it's about to be up on these goddamn Somalians, all right?
Good morning and welcome to Rising. We've got another great show for you today as we count down the end of 2025. It's almost all over. Isn't that crazy?
It's weird. And the days are always like a mush between Christmas and New Year. Like,
That is true.
what do you do with these days?
I guess you work.
Vision board, work, figure out your plan. Are you like a big planner for like your goals for next year, or you kind of just let it
I
go
don't
how it
even
goes?
know. I don't plan. I don't know what's going on later today. I know there's a lot I have to do. I'll find out after Rising. I do one thing at a time.
Effectively, not as hard.
On again, if it revived its nuclear program.
And in 1998, Americans had some predictions.
Allegedly, they did not enroll kids. Now, a fraud that involves welfare abuse, Medicare-related schemes, even fake daycare centers that received millions in public funding, even though allegedly they did not enroll kids. Now, independent YouTuber Nick Shirley doing great work exposing this last kind of fraud. His documentary has been viewed 1.5 million times already on YouTube. It's only been up for 3 days. Now, in the documentary, he visits childcare centers and he claims that there are no kids being watched there.
I want to put my son Joey in daycare because I need a spot to put my son Joey.
Shout out to Joey trying to get that diverse education, and the brown man won't let him. The brown man won't let the white kids get educated.
Yes. Is this your daycare center?
No, I work there. What's happened?
I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here? I was, yeah. What's happened?
Where are the kids?
Yeah.
It says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. It says they have a capacity for 74 children.
When? No, when?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website.
You know, we have a lot of people in the chat on both sides of this argument, and let me state definitively, speaking for Team USA, blue black in the chat, he says, I hope that someday you will all treat your Caucasian fraudsters the same way. That's not how this is going to work. I actually would rather that we be harder on foreigners than we are on our own native-born criminals, because it sends a goddamn message, okay? You always punish outsiders harder than you punish your own inside people. That's the way it works. That's why we have borders. That's why we have teams and we wear the same jersey. I don't give a good goddamn what those white people do to the Somalians, all right? Not my problem. You should have stayed in line, foreigner.
This matter obviously needs to be looked into further. Taxpayers do not want public resources being spent on fraudulent charities or schools or medical services. Obviously, we need to hear the child care center's sides of the story, though it does not inspire tremendous confidence when the word learning is misspelled on the sign.
From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up!
said they spelled learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children?
That woman.
Notice it's always a bunch of mentally disturbed liberal white women
Screaming at Nick Shirley and his associate. The associate, by the way, has an excellent Minnesota accent. The other person yelling at them, wrongly accusing them of being affiliated with ICE. Nick Shirley is not affiliated with ICE. He's an independent journalist who has questions for child care centers that receive millions of dollars from the government and don't appear to be operational whatsoever. Something everybody should be mad about if things are as they seem. But notorious leftist streamer Hassan Piker, I guess, feels differently. He wrote on X, I don't know what kind of fraud Somalis in daycares are doing, but I think it's a separate crime to try and storm with a camera into a daycare with kids in it.
Yeah, that's Hassan Piker. I think that's Cenk Uyghur's twink or something like that. I forget how they're related.
Piker obviously didn't watch the video because Shirley did not storm into the daycare. He knocked on the front door. Also, the daycare, at least the one with the misspelled learning sign at any rate, didn't have any kids there. There were no kids at that time. That's the whole point. Now, of course, it's nice to see Piker taking a break from praising communist China as his ideal form of government and whitewashing the atrocities being committed there. Remember, this is a guy who has routinely been held up by the main.
You know what's hilarious? We got a guy in the chat named Mohammed attempting to call Black Americans sellouts as if that's why no one respects Blacks. Mohammed's never respected Blacks. Imagine me believing you, Mohammed. As if you ever respected Blacks. You're hilarious. Foreigners are funny. Oh, you're a comedian in your country, nigga.
Mainstream media as a smart, edgy, progressive commentator. The New York Times praised him as perhaps the liberal answer to Joe Rogan because he's muscly. Remember that? Look, if you can't call a spade and
he swears he loves Black people. Muhammad swears he loves niggas. We're on the same team, right? Muhammad, we're on the same team, right? It's just me and you against the world, right?
These blacks.
Muhammad's a funny guy.
say that vast pilfering of public resources is a crime and needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent under the law, then you need to get out of the commentary game. The American people are not going to stand for what has occurred under Tim Walz's watch, nor should they. It's appalling, and it undermines the very foundations of our society as it encourages public mistrust in our institutions, our government, even in our neighbors. No one likes the idea that they are living next to people who will gleefully steal as much money as they can get their hands on. It's wrong, and it's got to stop.
Now we know that
Did you enroll your kids in the Leering Center?
I can't get over it. I know it's not right. That's ridiculous.
Come on. You're the black woman. It's your job to defend this shit. That's why they put you on TV. You're black, you're a woman, you're woke. Do your goddamn job, lady.
Ridiculous. And you know what? It's really important to note that I appreciate independent journalists, and it's really important to allow the Leering Center or whomever else to say whatever their side of the story is.
Shout out to the Leering Center.
To also track down that these places all receive funding and make sure that that's vetted information, because we have it from the video, but we need to make sure that that all tracks the amounts of money that they were saying. No matter if it's $1, you shouldn't receive funds for something that doesn't actually exist and was just a paper shell to collect COVID funds. We know that fraud was rampant during the pandemic, and it wasn't just Minnesota, but in any rate, it's not the pandemic anymore. And
yeah, it wasn't even just pandemic scamming. They were already running a scam. That's how they knew how to run pandemic scams. They were like, oh, there's another one? All right, give me money. Give me money. Shout out to Smarty Pants in the chat. He says, make Somalis poor again.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
I already told you my solution, all right? They're not giving the money back. Fine. We're just going to bomb Somalia now. If I were in charge, if I were the dictator of America, I don't want $1 back. I'm not even going to ask you for my money back. I'm locking people up and I'm bombing your home country. That's how we get back. That's how I get my money back.
we know that Tim Walz has put forward a task force starting on December 12th to look into stuff like this. A lot of people criticize that, saying December 12th, 2025 is way too little too late. What were you doing all this time? I have a different perspective. I'm critical of his response right now in December, but when I think about his response during the pandemic, he says that he was following federal guidelines that loosened a lot of the restrictions around collecting funds, which opened up more opportunities for fraud. So I'll give that leeway to all governors and leaders during the pandemic that were trying to urgently respond to a dire circumstance. But after you hit like 2022, I think states had to really take some autonomy here to gather their resources and figure out what the plan was, because we got a little bit of a hold on the pandemic that was taking us all over by storm, everyone wearing a mask, getting different guidelines and not knowing how to move forward, to a more calm version of COVID where people weren't just,
Shut up, black lady. I need you to understand. It's bigger than you think, all right? And there's so many people who want to defend this shit. They're going out of their way.
So I'm getting a lot of messages about all of this alleged fraud that's happening in Minnesota because it's my home state. The first message I got was from a friend of mine asking me if I'd seen that video that wackadoodle Nick Shirley did going to that like quick learning center or whatever it's called. And I'm not saying there's not fraud going on in Minnesota. I'm just saying that some of it seems to be from Nick Shirley. So he goes to this learning center. It's a daycare that has taken millions of dollars. He's knocking, nobody's come to the door. But it would seem that he's actually at the back door. So here he is at the front door. It's a restaurant called Abdi's Kitchen. That learning center shut down due to multiple violations, none of which I don't believe had to do with fraud. But he doesn't tell his followers that it's actually a restaurant. So I got a bunch of messages about that. And then I got this comment on Instagram, which is a bad faith question. This guy is MAGA. And there has been a huge
I guarantee you there's fraud, even in the restaurant business. We already covered that. You know, one guy will open up a little grocery store, restaurant business or whatever, and then they'll attach, all right, you open up a restaurant and a grocery store, and you get your multiple wives all on welfare, and they do bulk shopping at Costco with their EBT card, and they supply your restaurants and your grocery stores with their welfare card bulk shopping. Game is game, bitch.
To think about Somali people as fraudsters. Usually what they're referencing is the Feeding Our Future case. And yes, a lot of Somali people were implicated in that case. But what they conveniently leave out is this woman, Amy Bach. In 2016, she founded the nonprofit Feeding Our Future. And in 2020 is when the fraud began.
Amy Bach appears to be a ringleader of the entire Somali scam in Minnesota anyway. Yeah, a white woman. Shocking, right? Shocking. A liberal white woman at the heart, at the epicenter of all of the Somali fraud.
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please. Like,
this was at the beginning of the pandemic. This was during DJT's first term. He completely mishandled the pandemic to the point that he loosened oversight on these kinds of programs, allowing claims to get through unverified. And Feeding Our Future claimed that they were giving thousands of meals to children, and they never did. They pocketed that money to the tune of $240 million. In 2022, during Biden's term, Biden's FBI raided the organization, and the organization shut down. There were 70.
Well, Freeman's Journal poses a question. Is she really, or is she just a white face to deflect from the thieving inbreds? I would charge to you, Freeman's Journal, that as you get closer to the top, and by top, I meaning the actual oversight and approval infrastructure, the apparatus that actually manages the system, lots of white bureaucrats, a lot of women, a couple of gay dudes, and 10 walls, right? It's a bunch of liberal white women, couple of pudgy gay dudes, and 10 walls, all right? Those are the white faces. They're way above it all, though.
8 suspects, Amy Bach, and all of her employees. In March of 2025, 40 of those people, including Amy Bach, were either found guilty or pled guilty. Merrick Garland called it the largest pandemic relief fraud scheme that there ever was, and Biden's administration shut it down. So most of the 78 people who were indicted and the 40 people who were found or pled guilty were Somali, but they were also Bach's employees. She was described as an authoritarian who silenced dissent within her ranks, discouraged scrutiny from state regulators, and cut off people who refused to comply with fudging the numbers. She is the person who created all of this. And now this has become a huge right-wing talking point because of racism and xenophobia. But no one ever mentions her, the person who created it. Now, there's a ton more to the story, but I know that this guy asked me to cover this, to prove that Somali people are bad, because that's.
Look at this, white women telling on white women. God, I love it. It's awesome. White women telling on white women. Feels like we're coming to a place of healing. They're eating each other now. Shout out to True Hype with the $2. They can't run the Sally Struthers play anymore. Yeah, no. You know what? Not only that, the very idea of like racial empathy and all that, we feel bad for all the suffering brown people in the world. We feel bad that we had to colonize you and teach you about God and English and abstract concepts and whatnot. Yeah, all that shit's about to be over. No more apologizing about what JD Vance say? You no longer have to apologize for being white in this country.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
Shout out to Muhammad in the chat. He said he a victim.
What this admin wants you to think. The reality is every community has bad actors. That is not an indication of a community as a whole. Unless maybe we're talking about some white women like Amy Bach, who actually was only caught because of Somali whistleblowers. They were the ones who dissented, the ones that Bach iced out. Anyway, too long didn't read. There are bad actors everywhere, but in this case, it was a white woman.
Bar, but this bar now is home to a new mosque here in Minnesota.
It's a bar in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and it's being shut down to create a mosque for Somalians.
I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm standing outside a bar. This bar opened in 1906, Palmer's Bar, but this bar now is home to a new mosque here in Minnesota. As this is a Somalian community, and the Somalian community here, they complained about this bar. They said it was too loud. People were drinking alcohol, and it was just too loud to be in their community.
Oh my God.
The Minnesota bowed down to the Somalians and are turning this bar into a mosque. This was a staple of this community. The University of Minnesota is just right around the corner. College students used to come here and hang out, but no longer is this going to be happening. This is just another example of how our government leaders are bowing down to people who come into America, people who are not Americans. Don't assume.
Yeah, why do we cater to them?
These cities to become just like their cities in Africa, just like in Somalia. So this bar is no longer here. It's going to be a mosque here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this is just one of the things that are happening here in Minnesota. Mosques are popping up everywhere and massive fraud is going on.
They're literally just gonna like funnel money through the mosque.
Governor Tim Walz.
That's like the craziest part about it. I like how they're like, we don't like the noise. We don't care what you like and don't like. I don't like a Muslim call to prayer 4 times a day. I don't like guys. We saw one pulled over was like praying on a mat when like in between his like Uber shift or whatever. But I'm like, you come here and you don't like it, so go the back to where you came from. First of all, a Muslim to be like, you built any part of this country. I go, babe, yours aren't built. What do you mean? It's the same thing with the African thing. I'm like, go there. They're all, it's like cement. They even have that. I'm like, baby, yours isn't built. Ours is built, okay? So you're not taking credit for any of this. You're good at the demolition and blowing shit up. We're good at building. Very different things. Why are we catering to Somalians as well? Why are we catering to anyone but Americans? I will never understand. Also, they're complaining about noise. Welcome to America. There's noise. Why don't you go live in the middle of the desert where you belong if you don't like noise?
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
There's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable.
But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this.
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. And, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general.
But I also was on the
suitcases filled with millions of dollars of cash. And the couriers were always Somali men traveling in pairs. And they got through the checkpoint. And it just really absolutely blew my mind the first time you open a suitcase and you see millions of dollars of cash. And typically what would happen is a Leo or a law enforcement officer would come, check their credentials. I don't know what kind of questions they asked them, but their IDs were always documented, and probably their plane tickets as well. So there is a trail of that out there. And I would believe with all the cameras at the airport that if they started there, they could probably find each and every individual that brought money through the checkpoint.
Obviously, this seems suspicious, if not alarming, given what seems to be a pattern here. So you're talking about millions of dollars flying out of Minneapolis, and you think it happened about every week or so? Is that right?
So it certainly seemed like it happened every week. The suitcases came in, and it was always, the MO was always 2 Somalian men traveling in pairs. Sometimes they both had suitcases. And so the process was, as a TSA agent, we would pull the bag, and then we'd bring them to a private screening room. And we would open the suitcase and make sure that that's all it was stacks of cash.
Nothing to see here. It's just millions of dollars in stolen American money. Carry on.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
And a Leo would come and maybe question them, and for sure take a picture of their identification, and I'm assuming their plane ticket. I'm not sure. So there is a trail out there. between that, I mean, it has to be documented somewhere, and all the cameras in the airport, I would imagine if they'd like to find all this cash, they should start at the airport. Because in the 5 years I was there, I believe $1 billion went through the airport.
$1 billion. As if this isn't troubling enough, Liz, it's not just money you watched leave MSP. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. There was another instance, again, a Somali man that had a carry-on luggage filled with brand new passports. And he was allowed to get through the checkpoint. So where he went with those passports is anybody's guess.
This is really incredible to hear. So it sounds like you're raising alarms with your colleagues, but you have to wonder how many people knew about this. Where were they all back then?
That is a good question. And I don't know how my colleagues felt about it. I've been out of TSA for quite a few years. So since all this fraud came out, the connection's been made. I didn't feel good about it then, and now it certainly all makes sense.
Recently, the City Journal published an article stating that, quote, federal counterterrorism sources confirm that millions of dollars in stolen funds have been.
Carmen, that's a great question. Has Trump banned Somali immigration yet? I would imagine that Somalia would be on one of those lists of countries that you're just not allowed to accept people from. And if not, it should be. I already told you my solution. We're not asking for a dime back. We're just blowing your shit up. We will collect in blood. How about that?
And sent back to Somalia. And in talking about Al-Shabaab, a terrorist group there, they reported that a confidential source said the largest funder of Al-Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer. Judging by what you saw for yourself during the time you were a TSA agent, do you think there's any truth to this?
Absolutely. Knowing what I know now, absolutely. There's no question in my mind that that money went to Al-Shabaab.
It sounds like you've had a difficult time kind of living with this over these last few years.
Well, it's been uncomfortable because at the time seemed so lackadaisical that these people could get through the airport with.
And it's like, I'm sure, just taking it on a guess, statistically speaking, being in the Midwest, demographics and all that, a liberal, modern, dare I say, strong and independent even, white woman who now has to be confronted with the reality of the world she has created and built up and served all around her. This is the reality of it.
All that cash, time after time after time. It wasn't a one-time thing.
At this point, more than a few Minnesotans have told us about suspected fraud. I've heard from state employees, business owners, even a commercial real estate broker who was telling me recently how they've just been bombarded with calls from members of the Somali community looking to rent any kind of office with just an address, just in case they get audited. They're actually openly admitting all of this. It just seems to be playing out, for everyone to see. But even fraud in Minnesota is now making national headlines. It still seems, though, like elected officials aren't really doing anything about it or trying to ignore it.
It is so frustrating. It was frustrating when I was a TSA agent, and it's certainly frustrating now watching.
Hey, Mountain Man, listen, that's what we're going to talk about in a minute. I've been on air for a little while, and I haven't even gotten beyond Minnesota yet, bro. When I'm telling you it's a national scandal, we need to check all 48 contiguous states, man. I don't think the Somalis have made it to Hawaii or Alaska yet. I mean, you might. There may very well be Somalis in Alaska right now. I mean, God forbid we have Somalis in Alaska right now. But all the other 48 states, you got to check them out, bro, because I've been hearing rumors. I've been hearing rumblings of Somali fraud in places far and wide, high and low, bro. It's crazy what they're doing with the numbers, man.
In the state's administration doing what they're doing. Walls and Omar, honestly, they should both resign in shame.
Why did you want to come forward and share your story?
Because I think Minnesotans need to know that billions of dollars left through the airport. And it was cash. It was literally.
I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. Yeah, I got them plane tickets.
Suitcases full of cash.
So what is your message to our so-called leaders here in Minnesota?
That this just should not be allowed to happen. When they come through the airport, they absolutely should not be able to bring suitcases full of cash. Who goes with millions of dollars in a suitcase week after week, time after time, year?
Somali ballers, bro. That's who does it. Somali pirates, 10,000 feet in the air like ballin'.
Year after year. And all Somali people.
Amazing. Amazing work what's happening
Like
here.
first things first, I'm actually so shocked that Trump is attacking us. I think Trump should be thanking us in multiple ways, and I'm going to explain. First things first, I think we are a good example of what the American dream can look like. Like Somali Americans, and it's making me sad and it's funny. Like I know Somali people are very funny. We're like the class clan who also happens to be valedictorian. Somalis in Minnesota are so successful. I take multiple trips a year to Minnesota and I leave so inspired. You have Somali-owned law firms, Somali-owned pharmacies, Somali-owned everything you can think of. And it's so inspiring to see that what my community could do in just 30 years. Literally, we came to this country not speaking English, not knowing anything. We're Black, Muslim, we're immigrant, and we're able to be that successful. It should be really applaud. Like, I need Trump to stand up and applaud for us because it's shocking.
Applaud my thievery. I need you to slow clap. We have stolen so much, so fast. I'm surprised at how much we were able to steal from you.
Literally, my friend just moved to Minnesota and she was telling me how when she gave birth, it was an all Somali staff. Her midwife was Somali. Her doctors were Somali. Her nurses were Somali. Like,
they're everywhere. Oh my God, they're everywhere. You go into the bakery. You go to the butcher shop. You go to buy some Nikes. You catch a cab to your local diner. You go to your church. It's not even there. It's a goddamn mosque now. They're everywhere.
that is so beautiful to see and it should be celebrated. Okay. Second of all, Trump, you should be thanking my people for giving a random Midwestern state that much clout and money. Like, I don't think, other than Chicago, I think Minnesota is really popping when it comes to tourism because of Somali Americans like me. Okay. So you should be thanking us because.
What type of Americans are going to Minnesota to visit the Somalis? All right. What type of Americans are you referring to?
Minnesota would have been nothing if Somalis didn't move there. Like, if we're being honest, like, we have made that state pop and we have.
She said, you guys were nothing without us. Wallahi. She really said Minnesota ain't shit without Wallahi.
Made it beautiful for the rest of the world. So you should thank us. And if you want, you can donate Minnesota to the great country of Somalia. Like, I think it's a nice trade-off. And last but not least, I'm so happy that people are discovering how funny, witty Somali people are. We're very confident. And although Trump said what he had to say, like, I want him to know, Yani, like, it didn't even, like, bother. Like, it didn't do anything to our confidence. We've heard everything you've said before. People always make fun of Somalia, da-da-da. But I still think I'm better than everyone. Like, God has made me Somali Muhammad. Like, I'm okay. I still think I'm better than everyone. Like, God has made me Somali Muhammad. Like, I'm okay. But I still think I'm better than everyone. Like, God has made me Somali Muhammad. Like, I'm okay. But I still think I'm better than everyone. Like, God has made me Somali Muhammad. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. On top of that.
That feeling you feel is totally natural, and don't let anybody tell you that you're bad for feeling that feeling.
I'm Somali, I'm everyone. Like, God, people always make fun of Somalia, da-da-da. But I still think I'm better than everyone. Like, God has made me Somali Muhammad. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. On top of that, I'm Somali American, broski. Like, I'm winning on both sides. But yeah, it's just nice to see that everyone's realizing Somali people are very funny, very confident. And that's never gonna change. It has not changed since colonial days, baby boy, and it's not going to change because somebody right now decided to make fun of us. We're actually winning the war. So, but yeah, that's all I have to say.
She's winning the war. Had no idea there was actually a war going on. Apparently there's a war going on outside. Had no idea. And she claims she's winning the war, y'all. Did you guys know there was a war going on?
Fuck you. War.
We're being pillaged. White culture is being pillaged and looted by these third worlders. And I'm sorry, but the days of being able to ignore the race here are done. Are done. The days of pretending are over. Again, I mentioned earlier, I'll come back to this, the most racist nation on earth is India. All these third worlders. It's only the high trust, high IQ, Western first world nations, almost invariably white, that are told they can't have any pride or respect for their own heritage or culture or race. That would be racist. You don't want to be racist, do you? But again, can we make pattern recognition legal again? Would that be okay? When we see this scope of looting, when we see the obvious, it's always the same map. IQ distribution across the globe also correlates with race. Supposed to pretend we can't see the obvious? I'm not playing that game anymore. I hope you aren't either. Shamed into participating in our own racial genocide because we happen to have white skill. White people are only 8% of the planet. We are the ultimate minority on the surface of this globe. And we are being looted and pillaged by 7 billion low IQ third worlders, exploiting our high IQ, high trust generosity. Like it's just bags of money on the floor for them to pick up and run back home to Somalia with. And that's exactly what they're doing. And that's what we're allowing to be done. And if we notice, we run the risk of being called racist. Being called racist.
But because this is about politics. I get that. Politics is politics. But, you know, honestly, you knock on the door of a daycare center and you're like, let me in, let me in. What do you expect people to do? You know, in some of those cases, there were children in there. What do you want people to do in that situation? Open the door and say, come on in, when they know that the Somali community...
I played the entirety of that Nick Shirley video, and we didn't even hear children playing.
You know, in some of those cases, there were children in there. What do you want people to do in that situation? Open the door and say, come on in, when they know that the Somali community is under attack, is being threatened every single day? What is going on here? Because this is about politics.
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up. Because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's asking us then, you know, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that, out of a broader ring. Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. So I think it's really important for us to note each each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think we continue to educate folks about why they shouldn't commit crimes. You would hope that it's being taught both at home and at schools and in our society. But no, I think this idea that the Somali community's to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this. And that's, you know, again, I know we're not going to lose the whole plot here. All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention like this is something brand new. This is not brand new, and it's been being worked on, but he made it white hot and very dangerous.
Yeah, he made it white hot. Donald Trump made it white hot. That's
Somebody
hilarious.
had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
All right, so a lot of this fraud in Minnesota is centered around daycares. And now there are claims about daycares coming up from Ohio, and this is crazy. I'm just going to start showing you some of these examples.
It's bigger than Minnesota. It is a national problem. We have multiple states right now, not just reporting daycare fraud or Medicare fraud, but in particular, let's call them clans of Somalis engaged in all the exact same crimes all across the country.
All right, so a lot of this fraud in Minnesota is centered around daycares. And now there are claims about daycares coming up from Ohio, and this is crazy. I'm just going to start showing you some of these examples here, but basically Columbus is home to the nation's second largest Somali community behind Minnesota. There's about 60,000 Somali Americans in Columbus, and there's 500 Somali-owned businesses. And if you're not caught up on this, the FBI is now investigating this fraud in Minnesota. They say that it might reach up to $9 billion, one of the largest Medicaid frauds in American history. And federal officials have portrayed the Somali community as a hotspot for fraud. And I mean portrayed, but most of the fraud defendants are of Somali descent in Minnesota. So people just started using this tool where you can look up daycare centers in Ohio to look these places up. So here's one, 161 Child Care LLC. And it's listed at this address. So I literally just put this address in my own personal Google Maps, and this is what I see. It's listed as a smoke shop. Okay, and then here's First Choice Child Care.
Hold on, a smoke
listed
shop?
at this address. Okay, and this is what I see. It's listed as a smoke shop.
It's a smoke shop / daycare. Oh my God, that is amazing. Why didn't we think of that? They need to put those in the community. We need smoke shops / daycares in the community.
How dare you say that we are not interested in families in the Black community?
That is a revolutionary idea.
LLC, and it's listed at this address. So I literally just put this address in my own personal Google Maps, and this is what I see. It's listed as a smoke shop. Okay, and then here's First Choice Child Care. It's listed at this address, 4303 Cleveland Avenue. And this is what I see. You know, it's just like the windows are all blacked out. There's no playscape. There's nothing for kids. Maybe the photo was taken at the wrong time, but not many cars there. All right, and then there's Benati Child Care 2. And it's at 3629 Cleveland Avenue. And here we go again. Part of it is a boutique with bars on it. And here's the child care center. These all say 6 weeks to 12 years old. And if you have kids, you would know that most child care centers do not enroll kids that are between 6 weeks and 12 years old. That's way too big of a spread. But it enables you to get more kids enrolled, hypothetically, or at least claim that they're enrolled. And then you just start looking at the reviews. And so if they even have reviews, like this place got 2 reviews 2 years ago, and they're both 5-star reviews. And again, I don't know if you have kids, but daycares get reviews. Okay, and then you got the Hayat Learning Center, and it's at 2599 Tiller Lane. This place you can't even see on Google Maps, but you can see that address. There's like all these businesses that are listed there, and this learning center is just one of them, and it has no reviews. And then this one, Ka Child Care, which is listed at 2635 Dublin, and that's this spot here. You gotta love the 1-star award winner. But mostly you just notice like there's no playground, there's no kids. And this place is listed as being permanently closed, but it got 1 review and it's been open since 2018. So in the last, 5-6 years, 1 review. And it gets spicier because there is this Congressperson Ismail Mohammed, who's of Somali descent, who is receiving campaign donations from these daycare centers, Star Zone Daycare, Bright Kids Academy. All right, so here is Bright Kids Academy. We get the classic blacked out windows again. No reviews. Here is the Star Zone Daycare here. Again, blacked out windows, no cars, no playground. They do have a few reviews, and this lady said it's a joke. The teachers are not trained and are basically women that bring their kids to the center, and this is going to come back. Here's another one that donated to his campaign, Primo One Daycare. Again, classic, no cars, blacked out windows. And they had the wherewithal to put up these, nice looking photos, but again, no reviews. And here's this one, Rise Up Daycare, which is in this place. Again, classic, no playground. They say that they've enrolled 71 kids, which means they're getting reimbursed for, more kids. But when they were actually inspected, there was hardly any kids in the building. So yeah, it looks like the same scheme that's been used in Minnesota likely seems like it's going on in Ohio. And when I'm reflecting on this, it just makes me remember that Somalis follow this Islamic tradition where men can marry up to 4 wives, provided they're able to support them. And based on my research, it just seems like oftentimes what will happen is there will be one official marriage and then more cultural marriages. But then I started thinking about this lady's review where she was like, hey, the teachers aren't trained and they're basically just women that bring their kids to the center. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, that might jive with this whole thing. And so it's like, all right, cool. So if the guys are able to support them is the big thing, but just are we the ones supporting them? And if so, just a genuine question. Do we want to do that?
Yeah. So apparently, if you want to have 4 Somali wives in America, what you need to do is open a daycare center. And then, especially after, you had like a couple of kids with each wife, they can all get on welfare. You can have them pay you, and you can have the state also reimburse you. And then you can get money for all of your wives and children paid for by the government. On top of other benefits and goodies and whatnot you would receive just being, a desperate surviving immigrant of whatever.
Hello, it's just Dave. Why are you calling? No, outside. No.
Just like Nick Shirley, white people in Minnesota are now running up on Somali daycares. They are running up on the Somali scams now, y'all. Shout out to Nick Shirley. He done got the white people activated.
No, we just want to see if we have a daycare. Yeah, go. You have to move, please. Why do we have to go? Why you come here? To see if we can enroll daycare for our son. Yes. For our son. Right. We have a son. We have a son. We wanted to enroll our son in your daycare because we're moving around the corner. You have to please outside. I want to talk to outside.
You want to come outside?
Yeah, I'm coming outside.
It's cold out there.
At least there's a kid in this one. For like 3 days, we've been watching videos of Somalis in their scam childcare centers, and we finally found a real kid. He must be defective. He couldn't activate his invisibility powers. This little defective Somali kid. We're not supposed to see you right now. Nigga, turn on your invisibility power like the rest of them.
Yeah, I'm coming outside.
It's cold out there.
It's cold out.
So you're not interested in us enrolling our kid in your daycare?
It's the daycare, yeah.
Right, but
Do you have any information on enrolling, how to enroll a child?
What means enrolling?
I'm sorry?
what meaning sending our child here to your daycare?
Okay, I want to call the owner.
She just asked what means enroll.
What means enroll?
I'm sorry?
What meaning sending our child here to your daycare?
Okay, I want to call the owner.
It's kind of cold out here.
Because it's kiddies, it's not like. So,
You've been to daycare since 2017, right? Hi, honey.
No.
You've been open?
It's open like 3 months ago.
This just opened 3 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 months ago.
Online it says differently, but okay.
I think that one used to. I let you go. What's your name?
Bronwyn.
Bronwyn. What's your
Jeremy. I'm Jeremy. Okay, what do you want? We just want to bring our child to daycare.
What do you want, Jeremy?
Okay, it's okay. We're not getting anywhere. It's too cold out here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Apparently, they're running these scams everywhere. Anywhere they get a little foothold, they run the daycare scam. Apparently, here's another one. Nick Shirley started a trend.
Just a question: How do you enroll? How do you enroll your children here? You can't do that. No kids. So how can I enroll my children? It says you get public money through.
God, imagine letting her watch your children. She's got devouring eyes. Hit that like button for me, y'all. Support the show. Support the show. We are not funded by government fraud money. We are funded by actual listeners. We don't have any Somali scams to depend on here.
You get public money through Ohio. You get money through the state of Ohio. This is a money that gets. Just a question: How do you enroll? How do you enroll your children here? As you can see, it does not look like a child care center at all. It is locked. It says it's open. There's a little desk right there, but the ceiling's all falling out and stuff like that. And if you come around back, you'll see that. And as you can see, it does not look like a child.
It's called 161 Child Care LLC. It's like they're not even trying that hard.
I thought that we were doing the right thing this whole time. And the more I started digging, the more I started finding. And I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, that this was happening and that I was part of this.
Chris Bernardini spent 7 years working for Gateway Community Services, a Somali American-led health services contractor in Maine. Bernardini alleges Gateway oversaw a system in which false records were filed about client visits. And he says they charged taxpayers for providing services that were never performed.
We started getting some clients calling and saying, months later that their client owed them hours. They hadn't come in for these shifts and stuff. But I had a time card for it.
And they were billing for it.
They were billing for it.
In March of 2022, Gateway received a notice of violation from the state's Maine Care Services Program Integrity Unit based on an audit of records taken at random from January 2017 through December of 2018. Gateway overbilled by an estimated $904,000.
In your professional opinion, what you saw was fraud?
Absolute.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
But Bernardini says when the pandemic hit, it got worse.
I started seeing bonuses, $2,000 bonuses going to these staff that had only been with us for 2 weeks, never worked a shift with a client. And yet the PPP loan comes, you're giving $2,000 away like they're lollipops at a doctor's office.
In April of 2024, Bernardini wrote to the Department of Homeland Security seeking whistleblower protection. They referred him back to the state of Maine. Nearly a year later, Gateway fired Bernardini. The company's founder and CEO is Abdullahi Ali, a Somali American who, while at the time serving as executive director for Gateway, last year ran for president of Jubaland, a state in Somalia's south that borders Kenya. Last week, he posted on X, "I make no apologies for building a successful business in Maine, working hard to earn a living, earning my PhD, giving back to my Maine community, and running for office in Jubaland. I am proud to contribute my hard-earned dollars to support my people back home." We reached out to Ali for comment multiple times. We even came to Gateway to try and speak with him.
Hello, I'm with News Nation. My name is... No comment? Is Mr. Ali here? Can we speak with Mr. Ali?
Republican State Senator Matt Harrington has called on Governor Janet Mills to investigate.
It's just an absolute insult to the Maine taxpayer.
that we know that there's this Medicaid fraud going on by Gateway Community Services. We're seeing nothing from the Mills administration on this, and I think it's appalling.
I still can't believe it. I still can't believe I took so much of my time and put so much of my life into this agency that just tossed me aside. It's caused me to reflect a lot and, you know, try to trust my gut more and speak up more when I see something.
I can't even snitch on these people. You snitch on these people, you get fired.
It's just not right.
Now, we have reached out repeatedly to Mr. Ali, to Gateway behind me. We've reached out to Governor Janet Mills, the head of Health and Human Services here. We've even reached out to the 3 Democratic Somali American state reps here. Nobody would speak with us.
So a Somali American politician here in Maine, Abdullahi Ali, has placed a murder bounty on a journalist for reporting a fraud scandal for millions of dollars involving Maine Care. No wonder fucking Maine Care and taxes are so expensive here. It's being funneled back to Somalia. And they're openly putting murder bounties on people reporting it. Is this the kind of diversity we wanted here in Maine? Are you fucking liberals happy? So a Somali American.
Some new developments now in the state's investigation of Gateway Community Services. That is an agency that serves immigrants in southern Maine. The Department of Health and Human Services has now temporarily suspended payment to that agency. And the move means state investigators are looking into what they believe to be a credible allegation of fraud. Specifically, that Gateway had been billed for services it did not provide and billing for services that Maine Care does not cover. The notice of that suspension is one of 3 new documents we received from the DHHS yesterday. Number 2 is the results of the 3rd audit of the agency. We told you earlier this month that 2 prior audits found Gateway had overbilled Maine Care by a combined total of more than $660,000. This latest one covers March 1st of 2021 to December 31st of 2022. It found Maine Care overpaid Gateway by more than $1 million during that time. DHHS also confirmed how much Maine Care paid Gateway between 2019 and 2024, between $4 to $5 million each year, so a total of more than $28 million. This 3rd audit, by the way, falls within that time frame. In the report, auditors told Gateway, quote, "We have already audited you twice, already penalized you, already educated you, and the same problems continue."
Now, apparently, someone called one of these daycares, you know, doing a bit of investigative journalism.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Who is this?
Oh, this is Tom from Massachusetts. I was told to call you guys.
What do you want?
Oh, I was told that you guys run a daycare.
No.
Oh, your number was listed. I'm moving up to Lewiston, Auburn area.
No, I'm not standing. I'm not have English too much.
Oh, is this Jijo Muhammad?
Yeah.
Yeah. It says that under the phone number that you guys have a daycare, and I was wondering how much you guys charge.
Wait one.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, wait. Stop it, my son. My son. What you said? Hello there.
Oh,
hello.
Hello. I was just calling to see how much. My wife and I are moving to Lewiston and Lisbon, and you guys were listed as a daycare, and I just wanted to see how much you guys charge.
Daycare. No, oh, she doesn't do that right now.
Okay, it says Jijo Muhammad. I was trying to find a daycare, and it had you guys listed.
But she's currently not doing that right now.
Maybe I have the wrong. Is this 77 Rideout Ave in Lewiston?
Another daycare in Columbus, Ohio.
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
So right now we are in front of
Pay
the
attention, Somalis. Pay attention. Niggas are not helping you. You will not be hiding in no niggas' attics. You will not be hiding in no niggas' basements. We are telling, and we are going to laugh when the white man get his hands on you, all right? I just want you to know, all right? Niggas are not, we're sitting this one out, bro. We are sitting this one out. It's just you and the white man.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Minds Learning Academy. This is one of the many daycare centers, learning centers here in Columbus, Ohio that are associated with the Somali community. As you know, Nick Shirley put out a bombshell report about all these fraudulent daycare facilities in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we wanted to come out to Columbus, Ohio and investigate what might be going on in the second largest Somali community in the United States of America. So this place here is the first place we're going to knock, and we're going to see if anybody picks up or answers the door. Let's see. So it's locked. We're ringing the doorbell here. Knocking on the door. Nobody's picking up. So we're not sure what the hell's going on here, but we're gonna get out of here. Now there's somebody over there.
Are there no children in there? Where are all the children? It's just like the other daycares in Minnesota, man. Where are all these children? Like, do you hear children playing? Do you hear sounds of joy and happiness? Like, what's going on here? It's a very, very nondescript brick building. They're probably making fentanyl in there.
How you doing, sir? I'm sure you see the reports over the weekend about all the daycare centers in Minnesota. We just wanted to see what was going on. Did you know anything about this place here?
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Did you ever see any kids there?
No, because they use the back door, so I won't know if they is.
They use the back door.
Yeah, I've never seen nobody come in, but they use the back door.
But have you ever seen any kids? You live around here?
We're hearing this. We're hearing for the first time. Hold on a minute. Shut up.
Let me ask you, have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
Why is this not pausing? All right, there you go. We're hearing for the first time ever, Somalis bring their children through the back door. I want to get a second opinion. I would like further confirmation on that. This is the first I'm hearing of such a thing, but apparently, according to this gentleman who lives in Ohio, the Somalis bring their children through the back door. Fascinating behavior.
No, because they use the back door, so I won't know if they is.
They use the back door.
Yeah, I've never seen nobody come in, but they use the back door.
But have you ever seen any kid? You live around here?
Yeah, on this building right here.
Oh, you're in this building?
Yeah.
You're in this building too? Let me ask you, have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. They use the back, so I've never seen nobody come out the front.
Okay.
You've never seen anybody over there?
Now we have two people. We have two different individuals who claim that they use the back. They prefer to bring their children through the back door. I wonder if this is like a cultural thing. I wonder if this is just, maybe they picked this habit up in the Americas. I don't know. I'm curious now. Why would Somalis prefer to bring their children in through the back door?
No, not at all.
I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
So we came to the back, just like those guys suggested, and there's nothing here. We can keep poking around, but there's so many of these centers to go to. We're just getting started. So we're going to go around the city. We're going to go to a few more of these places. We're going to see if we can get anybody to talk to us. Stay tuned.
Incredible. Backdoor babies. I've heard it all now. Amazing. Beautiful culture.
There is some credible allegation of fraud. The big accusations is that Gateway was billing for services they did not provide and billing for services that Maine Care does not cover. Now, this suspension is one of 3 new documents we received from DHHS. The second one is the results of a third separate audit. We told you earlier this month that 2 prior DHHS audits found that Gateway had overbilled Maine Care by a combination of $660,000. Now, this third latest audit covers March 1, December 2021 to December 31st, 2022. In that third audit, it found that Gateway overbilled Maine Care by more than $1 million during that time period. DHHS also confirmed to us how much Maine Care paid Gateway between the years of 2019 and 2020.
Is money being sent to people in non-governmental organizations that are defrauding us. They're defrauding us because they are not providing the services that they claim to.
Apparently, this is live. The Republicans in Maine are pissed right now.
Provide. They are defrauding us because they are personally gaining wealth from our tax dollars without doing the work they claim to do. We know that Gateway Community Services was found to have over $800,000 in fraudulent billing. We know that the money from the Lewiston tragedy didn't go to families of survivors. And now, just like Minnesota and Ohio, whose fraud is numbering in the billions of dollars at this time, that this $800,000 can only be the tip of the iceberg of what's really happening here in Maine. Our constituents are struggling to pay their electric bills. They wonder if they can even think of going on a family vacation this year. And look, now they have a new tax on streaming services, on simple paint for their house. Their budgets are pressed and they can't take any more. And they especially can't take money being continually wasted. It's time for a full-throated, hold back nothing investigation into these organizations and for all involved. The people of Maine are demanding accountability for the money that they send to Augusta every single day, and we are here to stand up for them. Thank you, and Senator Stewart will speak.
So I'll round it out here, and then we'll open it up for some questions. But the last couple of things I want to say, 2 F's come to mind. The first being fraud by design. This wasn't an accident. This didn't just happen. It's a system that's designed by the left for people in their social circles. It starts all the way at the top of the federal government with the Obama administration, promulgated even more by the Biden administration. It runs down to the states, to governors across the country, including Governors Walz and Governor Mills. And even at the local level, you see the bad actors, you read the headlines, you see what's happening right here in Maine, certainly in Minnesota, and I would agree with what's been said so far that this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. The other F is financial Armageddon. That's what we're heading for. If you don't think that the Trump administration is serious about getting a handle on this, you're probably on another planet. This is going to have implications for the state of Maine in the billions with a B of dollars. This will spell financial Armageddon for our state. We have got to get a handle on this problem. This shouldn't be a Republican or Democrat issue, but there are some models out there that do work really well that we should be looking for to address this problem. There are some states that are getting it right. The playbook has already been written. We could copy and bring to Maine if there is the gumption of my friends on the political left to do just that and to start tearing away at the system that they created for themselves by design. There's one last F I'll mention too, which is this word, failure. We will not accept it. We will not accept the failure that leads to the financial Armageddon of our state. We will continue to ring this bell, but more importantly, the folks that are involved in this, they ought to be praying that we don't win the legislature back here in about 10 months. Because if we do, we will hold every single person that is involved in this scheme and in this fraud accountable down to the last penny. That is a promise from the Republican leaders. That is a promise from everybody that is running on the ticket to be a Republican in the next legislature, and we will not stop. We will not fail. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. We'll keep it to this topic here as we are limited on time. Thank you. Yep.
I have an F word that needs to be addressed, and it's fear. What
are we doing for the whistleblowers?
They need to be protected. This is something that I honestly, I think sunlight is the best disinfectant. If those folks are seeking to come forward, they should, but also recognize that there is likely risk with this level of corruption that exists within any sort of system, but certainly in government. But the best thing that those folks can do is let their name be known, because if it is, it'll be obvious if they lose their job why that happened.
So when you lose your funding, like your federal food program, after you testify, would that be something I could get help with?
We'll be sure to touch base with you after this. Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions? Okay. Yep.
So it's just at the top, you guys drew similarities between the situation going on in Minnesota with that Somali community, and made mention that the gentleman leading this group is also Somali. Do you feel like it's a one or two bad actors, or is there some line being drawn between Somalis and the U.S.?
I think, as we've mentioned a number of times here, where there's smoke, where there's fire, where there is a correlation here between what's happening, I think is just the tip of the iceberg, what's come out thus far. I think you're going to continue to see, as we peel back the layers of this onion, more and more fraud, more and more systemic fraud. This isn't an accident. This didn't just happen in a bubble. This isn't happening in a bubble in Minnesota. It's not happening in a bubble in Maine or any other state, in my opinion. Has nothing to do with certain populations, unless and until it does. And I think that's what we're seeing play out in Minnesota, is that there is a strong corollary there. We should be looking at whether there's a strong corollary here in the state of Maine as well. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Good job. With the follow-up on that?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Not bad. How was Merry Christmas? You weren't plugged in.
And I have to give props to the men.
A problem here when they can't even spell on the side of a learning center, Nick?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I have to give props to the man by the name of David, who helped me in this investigation. He's been doing research for years trying to expose this fraud. And nobody has given him the time of day to even talk about this. So with his help and my own investigation, I've known about the fraud taking place for a long time. Minnesotans have been telling me for a long time about the Somali fraud that is taking place. And with his help, we were able to crack over $110 million in fraud in one day. And that's just the tip. When people say it's the tip of the iceberg, it really is, because there's billions of fraud inside the state of Minnesota right now.
Nick, kind of on that topic, you said that, I believe you just said his name was David, has been researching.
Hi, I'm Ubah Kadere. I'm a single Black immigrant mother and homeowner in the unincorporated area of Renton, and I'm running for King County Council in District 9. I came to King County 25 years ago as a 15-year-old refugee. My values are shaped by my lived experiences, my policy chops, and my organizing background. For decades, we have seen our Black, Indigenous people of color communities and working class communities facing systemic and structural racism. These problems peaked last year with COVID and a renewed reckoning of systemic racial injustices. Today, we need bold vision rooted in community to reimagine how King County functions. I bring forth decades-long experience building policy to tackle systemic issues in our region. I have consistently delivered wins on housing, better wages, and community economic development. I have managed millions of dollars to build infrastructure for community-based groups. I successfully introduced bills in Congress, and as your council member, I will rebuild from our economic, housing, climate, and health crisis by increasing infrastructure access, transforming our criminal legal system, and preserving our farmlands, forests, and waterways. I will lead in creating equitable economic opportunities and public health resources for all our region. I'll prioritize land use, transportation, and housing policies to center communities most impacted by these issues. To tackle these issues, we need strategies designed to be deployed concurrently for transformative change. King County is diverse. All of us, no matter what we look like, how long we've been here, or what's in our wallets, we all want to live in the best places for our families. We are fighting for our future, just like when we want better wages for workers and civil rights in our past. We'll do so moving forward together. To achieve justice, we must be transparent in our values and actions. My aim is to build a movement that will hold me accountable to my constituents. Therefore, please vote UBAH for King County Council District 9.
We are absolutely winning right now. Absolutely. We have done more than change the conversation. We changed the balance of power in the federal government.
This is also a community on edge. There are roughly 80,000 Somalis living here in the area, and their leaders are warning that they're being unfairly blamed and targeted because of a fraud scandal worth more than $1 billion that have implicated more than several dozen Somalis. Minnesota is reeling from a fraud scandal involving $1 billion siphoned from multiple federal programs during the COVID pandemic. In the past 3 years, 87 people have been charged, 61 convicted, most of Somali descent. Erica MacDonald was U.S. Attorney for the District of Minnesota during the first Trump administration. What happened in Minnesota where fraud was able to run rampant that it didn't in other states?
Lack of accountability, frankly. We knew that fraud occurs, and there's warning signs that come with it, and they were ignored in this case.
According to investigators, the schemes involved bogus receipts and invoices for meal programs, housing assistance, and behavioral health services, charging the state millions of dollars for services that were never provided. This week, the president has repeatedly lashed out at Minnesota's Somali community.
We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
I think it's a beautiful country.
Jamal Osman, who moved from Somalia to Minnesota when he was 14, is a naturalized U.S. citizen and a member of the Minneapolis City Council.
Anyone who looks like me are scared right now.
The fear comes as the Somali community here is bracing for a surge of ICE agents cracking down on migrants who have been issued final deportation orders. The president is pointing to the fraud cases in Minnesota, and we know that a majority of the suspects are of Somali descent. How is your community taking that?
Well, my community is upset. Yes, people commit crimes, but the entire community should not be blamed based on what some individuals did.
Republicans on a House Oversight Committee in Washington are also announced in a news release their own investigation into the fraud and whether some of that money, stolen money, could have made its way to terrorists overseas. I spoke with several federal investigators. They say there's no evidence that happened. Instead, they say, Nate, that the fraudsters pocketed the money for their own use, bought cars, trips, diamonds, and so much more.
It's just deeper than we all thought it was. I really don't have to say that much.
So these individuals tried to report the fraud that was happening in Ohio, and then eventually came to me to say that we're watching providers rubber stamp paperwork for home health. So in Ohio, and there's many states like this, Pennsylvania and other states too, where you can go in and you can say my aging parent needs a home health care and I want to provide it. So the state will, as long as the doctor has approved it, continue to pay you. It could be for 10 hours, 12 hours, up to 24 when it's critical care. So you could sit at home without caring for an elderly parent who really doesn't need it, make about $75,000 to $90,000 a year. Now you add two parents, that's $180,000. Now you add your in-laws, $250,000. You continue to add this and you wonder, what are the services being provided? So a lot of providers came and said, fraud is occurring because we said we weren't going to rubber stamp this paperwork. So they went to other providers. Their home healthcare network saying, we'll make it worth your while. Well, sounds like a kickback to me. So we really need to investigate the Medicaid system and how much it's increased since the Somalian population came and who really needs critical care, because that's meant for our disabled, our elderly, and people who really need it, not to just live off our system. And that's what's happening in Ohio. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's despicable. But authorities are now looking at it from the Attorney General's office to the U.S. Attorney's office. I flagged them all because this is Ohio tax dollars and we have to take it seriously. I'm tired of people telling me, well, this is the way it's always been. It's subjective and we can't really check. No, you can. Audit America, audit Ohio now. And I'm pushing for that in every single state.
The Department of Health and Human Services has stopped payments to Gateway Community Services. This after a third audit has been released showing overpayments of more than $1 million. Gateway Community Services is a nonprofit that provides healthcare services to immigrants in the Poland and Lewiston areas. The newly released audit from 2021 and 2022, as we've been reporting, between 2015 and 2018, the nonprofit was overpaid more than $600,000. Those audits have been done by DHHS. State Auditor Matt Dunlap saying the nonprofit will be included in the statewide audit, which will be released coming up in March. Also regarding the investigation into Gateway Community Services, State Rep Decca Delac and the nonprofit was named in a letter from U.S. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer earlier this week.
Comer writing to the Treasury Department requesting suspicious activity reports relevant to the investigation into hundreds of millions of dollars of social services fraud. Gateway Community Services and Representative Delac are included in the letter as organizations of interest or persons of interests. Delac has not returned our request for comment.
What would you say to Nick Shirley? What would you say to Nick Shirley, the YouTuber, if he was standing in front of you
I have
right
nothing
now?
against him himself, but I do have something against the rhetoric. It's if you're gonna be a journalist, just have a moral compass. Like, do what you do correctly. If you catch business that are fraud, no one here is with that, or like we don't support that as a community. I don't support that myself. I was born and raised here. I'm not for fraud. Like the notion that, hey, a certain batch of Somalis got caught, so all of them support it. It's like, no one, if in any community, any mishaps that happen, the rest of the community obviously doesn't want that to happen because it's stained on all of our names, as you guys can see. We don't want that to happen. We don't take part in that. We don't like that. We don't want that in our communities. But just to say, hey, a certain company got caught, so they must all do it, and I feel like that's what he's doing. I'm not a fan.
2 to 10 p.m. may not be your typical daycare hours, so can you explain why it is that you operate during these hours?
The reason for that is we're after school hours. So most of our clients, not most of our clients, all of our clients is after school hours. So schools, earliest dismissal would be 2:15 to 2:30ish, and the latest dismissal would be up to like 4:30ish, 4:40ish. So that's when our kids come to us. We don't have anyone in the morning. We deal with only parents and clients that come to us after school. So that's why ours are 2 to 10 p.m. If we try to do, once again, I'd like to conclude, the YouTuber that was making the claims, you were here earlier today. I came here at 1 o'clock. You were here. Where are you now? You claim we're closed. You claim we're fraud. Where are you? Why are you not here right now? It's like you're trying to put out a certain message about a certain group. I'm not gonna make that claim. I don't want to make that claim without me knowing him personally, but that's what it seems like he's doing from his front. Where are you right now? He was here earlier. He was recording us. We had no issue with it. We told him, hey, just get off our property. You can record. Now he's not here.
Oh yeah, the Somalians have it figured out in Columbus. I went to the Walmart on Georgesville to see if I could see people filling their carts or just kind of see what I could see. It's not the way they do it. They've got it figured out way better than that. Every single Somali restaurant has a grocery store right next door or within eye shot of the restaurant. The specific one I went into today had it attached to the restaurant. And wow, what an adventure that was. Stay tuned for more on that. Anyways, the grocery store and the restaurant were the same building. So they don't have to go to a Walmart or a Sam's Club or a Costco necessarily. They can just order everything they need to their grocery store that's right next to or attached to the restaurant that they also own and never have to fill a single cart. And I guarantee you, if you looked at the records of those grocery stores, they lose tons of money every year, and it's probably used as a tax write-off because those groceries are being funneled into those restaurants, with a daycare center on the opposite side. And that's the common trend you'll see. There's restaurants, grocery stores, and daycare centers, and also home health care businesses. I can't forget the home health care businesses. Nakia was absolutely right. And the reason for the daycare centers, I found out while I was at Walmart. 3/4 of the workers I saw working in Walmart, especially the cashiers, were Somali women. You got to figure if you have 2 or 3 wives that you don't have to claim, these women can go work at Walmart full time for $15 an hour and still qualify for food stamps as long as they have a couple kids, which you can guarantee you they at least have 2 kids. Hell, they average 7. Or same story as working as a home health care aide. They have most definitely figured out the system and how to take advantage of it. And Columbus doesn't break down its numbers like Minnesota, but if anything like the 88% of the Somali community is on social services in Columbus, I can only imagine how deep the fraud is. So I'm changing tactics and going back up Monday, and I have a couple ideas to see if I can't sniff a few things out.
Carmen says they got harems full of Walmart worker ladies. It almost makes you want to harem yourself, right? I mean, maybe we're doing it wrong in America.
Nick Shirley, I hope you see this video. Please come to Columbus, Ohio. The reporting you did in Minnesota was amazing. Thank you for that. And if you come to Columbus, Ohio, you will find the exact same fraud. You will see the exact same things, daycares everywhere, the home health care. I mentioned that in my video. I do not have your bravery to go out here and knock on doors like you did. I don't even want to leave my room right now, okay? But you could come here and do what needs to be done. Please, please investigate. Please talk to our government officials. And you see how the police escorted you out of that building? The Columbus police are on the same take, I am sure. Allegedly. Let me say allegedly before I got the Columbus police coming after me, as well as the Somalis. It's a lot. In the meantime, please come here and investigate. You will find the exact same things. And the rest of the country needs to know that it is real. Thank you for all you are doing. And please, please, please stay safe.
What's the latest you're seeing there in the Buckeye State?
Well, we were able to kick this operation off on December 16th. And with this operation, we've had a lot of success very quickly. Our officers have gone out and truly arrested the worst of the worst. We have arrested gang members, murderers, and rapists. We've arrested people with sex crime charges. We've arrested people with DWI charges. And we've been able to go after these people that have been in this country illegally. They have taken advantage of the system here in Ohio, and we're putting a stop to that, allowing us to go after the worst of the worst who have been embedded themselves in these communities near Columbus, Ohio.
The Columbus mayor is protesting. I want to play a clip from him, and I'll get you to react.
Our police will not be used to carry out these operations. Columbus is already safe without federal intervention. Please take care of one another and know that your community leaders see and support you.
What's your response to him, and is his protest causing you any issues?
Well, look, we will continue to go into cities no matter if the locals want to work with us or not. Sanctuary cities policies, leaders who don't want to work with ICE is not going to deter ICE from doing our job. We want to walk beside law enforcement officers to allow them to go after the worst of the worst, the people that have been wreaking havoc in their communities. Now, if the city of Columbus doesn't work with us, well, that's not going to stop us from going in and removing these criminals who have wreaked havoc on the American people for far too long.
Sure. So these were funds that were meant to go. Sure. So these were funds that were meant to go to help feed hungry people during the COVID pandemic, to help keep people in their homes who were at risk of homelessness. So first of all, if there is fraud there, that should be fully investigated, no matter where it is, whether it's in a Democratic-led state, a Republican-led state. I mean, let's pull back. So absolutely, it should be investigated. The question is, why is this a priority in a different kind of way? The politicization of the DOJ and the FBI is undeniable. So whether they are reliable narrators is the big question. And this is what happens when you weaponize and politicize federal agencies that are not meant to be, politicized. And I think the American people are right to ask the question, well, can we trust you? And that's a sad thing to say as an American. Let's recall, too, that there's also other scandals in other states. For example, the Mississippi welfare scandal. And this is not unique to politics. Americans know that. But of course, the other factor here is that because it looks like the Somali population in Minnesota, the Somali immigrant population may have been involved in some way, those people are being scapegoated, and that community is being scapegoated in a way that certainly serves the far right.
It's the white man's fault, y'all.
aad iyo aad baan rabaa marka ugu horeysa inaan uga mahad celiyo runtii TV qaranka iyo maamulkiisaba.
Do you guys feel trust in your government as you listen to one of your officials speak to you?
laba waxoo taariikh runtii oo aan ka sameynay gobolkeena Ohio, especially khaasan magaalada Columbus. Marka ugu horeysa waxa way Sayid Maxamed Cabdulla Xasan waa aabihii Soomaaliya runtii waa qof maxal dhahay sharaftiisa iyo karaamadiisa qof la mid ah oo taariikhda Soomaaliya kuma jirto. Marka runtii hadaf iyo go'aan bay.
He represents you, people of Ohio. That's your guy. He's on your team. They even named the street after Sayid Muhammad Abdullah Hassan.
magaalada Columbus, Ohio, wada aan kuma oo magac darnay taasna runtii taariikh bay noo tahay dhowr iyo 20 haysano xildhibaano kala duwan. Of course Ilhaan Cumarna noo tahay xildhibaanadeena federaalka noo fadhida gobolka Minnesota ka socota xildhibaano ilaa gaaraya dhowr iyo 10 runtii oo dhinaca siriga iyo state-ka ba ku fadhino. Marka urur baa sameeysan anagu waa isku xiranaa runtii qol baan isku jirnaa. Hadafkeenu waxa weeyna ka wada hadalno xaaladaha waliba Soomaaliya saameynaya waa dalkeennii waa dalkeennii wixii marka hadafkeenu waxa runtii anagu isku duuban.
I'm sorry, I can't. I can't. His Jawa talk hurts my mind. Anyway, I think I've made my point. I think I have successfully made my point. We're going to wrap this one up here. Shout out to all the Somali pirates robbing the entire welfare system. Hit that like button on your way out, people.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help Black people.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.